Hello, I'm coming to you today to talk to you about some things that I've been dealing with as far as trying to get the ministry organized and on the legal matters. And I also wanted to ask you guys to give me your feedback concerning what are your ideas about this certain situation. And today I'm going to talk to you about obtaining churches obtaining their 501c3 status. So I know some of you may not know what I mean by that, and so I'm going to um, read directly from the Internal Revenue website, and it says to be tax exempt under 501c3 of the Internal Revenue Code, an organization must be organized and operated exclusively for exempt purposes set forth in Section 501c3, and none of its earnings may inure to any private shareholder or individual. In addition, it may not be an action organization, meaning it may not attempt to influence legislation as a substantial part of its activities, and it may not participate in any campaign activity for or against political candidates. Organizations described as 501c3 are commonly referred to as charitable organizations. Organizations described in Section 503 of the Testing for Public Safety organizations are eligible to receive tax-deductible contributions in accordance with Code Section 170. So it says exclusively for exempt purposes. And so I'm going to tell you what those purposes are. The exempt purposes set forth in the Section 501c3 are charitable, religious, educational, scientific, literary, testing for public safety, fostering national or international amateur sports competition, and preventing cruelty to children and animals. And so I'm, of course, talking about the religious exempt purposes for churches. Um, so the biggest thing for me is under the First Amendment of the United States, churches are already tax exempt. You know, with the separation of church and state and all that stuff like that, we are already tax exempt. And so my biggest question is why ultimately do churches go out and ask the state for something that is already given to us? Um, and the biggest thing is that I have found is that, of course, it's for the tax exempt status. They want you don't have to pay taxes on anything because you're a religious organization or because you're a church. Um, and then also, I find that a lot of people or churches would like to do that because for the purpose of obtaining grants, being able to get property and different stuff like that. But then the question also goes into, well, why is it necessary for us to obtain all this property and different things like that? Which I know that in essence, we want to be able to help people and do as much as we possibly can. But then the other question runs into is it worth it when we do this and then the church become indebted to the world standards? Because once you sign, because this is illegal, when you go in and you get this 501c3 status, this is legal and binding, and you are in essence asking the government to come in and to govern over the church. And the thing is for me, it's like, why would we ask the government to come in and govern over us when, there has been a set of, rules set in the Word of God for us to govern over our own affairs. And I know that, we want to try to come up with the times, but even looking in the Word, I can't see where there was any churches that, that owned and went out and obtained the buildings or land and different stuff like that for the purpose of having church. Um, Most of the time, well, and most times it was done in someone's home or in some kind of, underground dwelling type thing, which we don't have that problem to where we have to do that nowadays. But so in the same token, um, I think that a church can still be a church and function in that type of form to where they just come together in a common dwelling to fellowship and to minister to each other in the different gifts and things like that. And so um, through the process, I found that there was a whole lot of things that just didn't sit too well with me because there was definitely um, a lot of red tape that you had to go through to even obtain it. And so, to first and foremost, to obtain this status, you had to become a nonprofit organization, meaning that you had to incorporate, meaning also that you have to get together a set of bylaws or your articles of organization of how you are going to run as an organization. And I have no problem with that because I definitely feel that there should be rules and regulations as far as how the any organization or thing is run. There has to be some kind of guidelines. But it's a lot of work. And if so, lo and behold, I was going to choose it. Yes, I would do the work, but to fight that hard for something that has already been given to me, it's not worth it because my ultimate goal, and I think the ultimate goal of um, most churches and pastors is to really save souls, and that's ultimately what it boils down to. We are here to save souls and to see to the needs of um, the sick and the afflicted and the widows and the orphans. That is our ultimate goal. And I think if our goal is something else to obtain some kind of status outside of that, then we are focusing on the wrong thing. Um, and so I just found that even with just the research and that, so many churches do that, and then not realizing that at any moment that the government have the right because you obtained this status from them and you have made this contract with them that they can come in at any moment and take it away from you if you are not following their rules. So why would a church or put themselves through that when they can just function in that same fashion that they want to function in, and not have to have someone other than God governing over them. Another thing that I heard a lot was, or read a lot as well, was that well, if you don't have your 501c3 status, then when people give money to you, or say someone wants to donate land to you, or someone wants to just give anything to you as far as contributing to your cause, then they cannot write that off. That is totally untrue. It can be written off, and and you have to understand, to some people, being able to write that off on their taxes is very important to them, and I totally get it, and I'm not against that. By no means necessary I am against that, because we have written off a lot of things that we have done as far as the church and different things is concerned. But you just can't. There is limits to that too, and I suggest that you guys go in and read. And so the biggest thing is if there are people out there who want to be able to write things off that they do for the church, and I know there are going to be different opinions about this. Well, if you give it to God, why we I'm not going to even go there because it's just a reality that it does happen. And so the churches need to realize that to help your the people who come and fellowship with you, if they give you donations and stuff that's more than $250 or more, you can give them a receipt stating um, your place of location, um, the amount that was given, what date, and who gave it. And because some people do want to track that, and so that goes for churches who have that 501c3 status and those who do not. And so I really want to know, from both perspectives, why do or why did your church ultimately um, got the 501c3 status or didn't get the 501c3 status. I understand the fear of, some churches that do get it, where they think, well, maybe if we don't get this status, then there's a lot of things that we're not going to be able to do. Not so. There is a lot of, you can do anything that organization that got that 501c3 status um, can do. You can do it. So don't be fooled and don't allow people to make you think that you can't do it, because you can. And I'm proof that you can. And I know that you can. And so, but the biggest thing is you just want to make sure that whatever you do, your motives is right, and it's for the upbuilding of the kingdom of God. God, he loves us so much, and he wants us to prosper so much. And I know that it can be hard out there when you have a cause and when you have a passion for something, and it seems like every little avenue that you try to take um, is being bombarded by something else. But God, He's in control, and you cannot go above and beyond what He wants you to go anyway. So whatever is for you, it's for you, and what's for somebody else is for somebody else. So don't allow the enemy to come in and to make you think that if you don't do this, and that, whatever, that you're not going to get what God has for you. Oh, you're going to get it, but we want to make sure that whatever we do get, that we're getting it to be able to help benefit someone else, because this thing in ministry is not about us. It's about the people, and it's about God, and it's about helping and saving and delivering and healing, because there is so much going on in this world, and there's so many hurting people and so much that can be done. And so, what actually had really pushed me into trying to understand this thing I was in the process of wanting to open a facility or a shop to where people can come in and to get clothes and different things that they may need or whatever. But of course, it's not going to be where they have to pay. But there has to be some kind of form of tracking people coming in and different things like that, so that people are not just abusing it, because some people just want to use use you. It doesn't matter who you are, they just want to use. And so you have to be able to have some kind of control over that. And so in the process of doing the research, and I really thank a dear friend who gave me some valuable information, and I did some research and different things on that. And that situation just didn't happen to work out, and that's totally fine, because I know in timing that it is going to work out. And so going through that process of researching that, searching that out, I had to try to figure out, okay, well, can our church be able to do this without having to go through the process of getting all this stuff that is really not necessary, because as a church, as I said before, all this stuff is already freely given to us. um, my heart really goes out on this, and I have researched this for quite a while now, and even just this past couple of months, or month or so, that my eyes have really been open to a lot of things that I thought a certain way and didn't understand, and God said, okay, no, this is it. This is how it needs to be, and you can function, and you can still survive, and you can still do whatever you need to do um, to be able to help the people that I have assigned for you to help. And being that we don't, because we don't have a church building, we don't have a place where we go and consider a church, but we do, um, as a ministry, help a lot of people throughout the year through giving, through just ministering to the needs of the people. And we're not set on just one specific type of group of people. It's whoever the Lord sets before us and says, okay, I deem you worthy to be able to help these people. And when they come or they call, we do the best to glean to help. And I think that's really the core of ministry. You know, t- to be honest with you, I don't want a church building. I don't want just stuff. I don't want stuff. I want what God wants for me and His people, and that's souls to be saved, people to be healed, people to be delivered. And like I said before, I'm not against, you know, people who have obtained this status, and I'm not against people who have not. You know, I'm on middle ground, and I am content in the place where God has placed me in the midst of all of this. But I just really wanted to just pose the question out there, and I really want to hear from you all and to hear answers. And I don't know if there's any members of churches who have this status or don't have this status, or some people don't even know that this stuff even exists, you know, or whatever. But in any case, you know, I just truly thank you for your time, and I ask that you all just continue to pray for me, that God will continue to help me in this call that He has set before for me to be able to minister to the needs of His people. And so, with that in mind, I will continue to pray for you all as well. Thank you, and please do answer the questions if you have time, and give me your opinions and suggestions on whatever you think you want to answer concerning this question. Thank you all, and you have a truly blessed day. Goodbye.